Hey friends, what's up? Welcome to a new episode of Is It My Team or Do I Suck? Today we're gonna look at new Sombra. Excuse my voice if I sound a bit like a horse. I've never seen a character, new or old, be this controversial. 50% of people seem to think she's broken, and the other 50% of people seem to think she's complete garbage. I think she's the highest skill ceiling character in the game now other than Tracer, and I think like the lower you go in rank, the harder she becomes, but the weaker she becomes, because she's still so reliant on the team. It's weird. Anyways, today's contestant, Deftome Nivor is a high gold player. Gold 1? He has a boring answer. He thinks he actually deserves gold. Let's say he deserves Grandmaster for the video. Cut it out. Let me start off by saying that I'm not accustomed to the new Sombra in the slightest, so I had a difficult time getting the timing of going out of invis and landing virus shots throughout the game. At the start, I think our tank threw by choosing Roadhog. Yep, that is a throw, by just picking the character. And by the time he switched, we were already down in a downward spiral. I think the thing I need to primarily work on is choosing which battles to initiate in order to get cleaner kills. Use my ults to aid in team battles. Other than that, what could I have done differently to win games like this in the future? This is gonna be pretty in-depth, I would say, because there's a lot of things new Sombra can do that not a lot of people do. Like, there's a lot of tricks you can apply that I'm gonna try to talk about, which I'm assuming I'm gonna see a lot of things that you won't do. We are playing on Survasa, the new push map that is hated by 90% of the player base, excluding myself. And here is the first thing I can tell you. The new Sombra hack is actually a tool you really want to use less than the old Sombra hack. You hack the enemy, right? So they take more damage, but it does only now disable abilities for 1 second. And most of the fights you want to initiate with virus, especially on an early fight like this. I would have liked for you to hack the medkit. This is a medkit that is contested by both teams. So just by you hacking it, you're gonna deny the enemy the usage of the medkit. But this hack here is not really super useful if you think about it, right? It does nothing, basically, right? Because you miss a virus right after, which is fine, but you don't do more damage with your machine gun anymore to the hack target, okay? So there's no reason for you to hack. You just denied 1 second of Matrix, but there's nothing to Matrix here anyways, right? And you wouldn't have had to run away right away. And wait for another. But yeah. Again, same thing, right? And this sounds very simple, and it's 2 fights in a row now. This hack does nothing. But in a 1v1 scenario, right, it does double the speed of the damage of the virus. Virus does 100 damage over 4 seconds, or if you hack the target, it does 100 damage over 2 seconds. So it's really good in some situations to hack them and then burst them down really quickly. But if you just want to get the damage in and there's a low chance you're gonna burst them down, like in this situation, right, where the Moira is right on the Zenyatta, not really worth anything. You didn't even use the virus in this fight at all, which is a very low cooldown as well. So yeah, you seem to be stuck in this old playstyle of, you know, yeah, like old Davids die hard, right? And you're kind of playing Ultra like the old Sombra. You're playing Sombra like the old Sombra, which really doesn't work much anymore. So far, not the biggest value. The best target on the other team is probably a Zenyatta. So you wanna start the fight by going in to the backline, looking for the Zenyatta, and then immediately translocating out, if you don't get the kill. If the Zenyatta is alone, you can try to go for the hack, but even without the hack, if you just throw the virus at them and then use your machine gun, there's a good chance you will kill them. Which is what you should do here. That was a free kill, right? Like, your team is still losing, partially because you haven't done much this game, other than being a bit annoying. That was a free kill right there. You need to... Okay, that's kind of funny that the enemy Sombra found it. Yeah, and you had the right idea there, right? You had the right idea with going for the virus right away, but then you missed it. Take your time to aim it. You really can't miss it. You can even get a bit closer, right? Unless you go melee range to where it says detected. And I mean, so far, honestly, it seems like yeah, and you could have gotten out there again, by the way. Like, if you throw the translocate right away, you could get that, you get out of this situation quite easily. You're missing the basics, and I think the basics for you is probably just practicing to throw the virus. It sounds simple, and it is simple, but that's what I did too. At the very start, I had troubles. Yeah, and see how fast they die when you actually hit the combo. Your team can flip the point now. I like that you're going into the backline and you're looking for the Zenyatta. You didn't really find him there. Yeah, there was no reason for you here to actually use the translocator to get in. You see the Moira, you just walk in behind the Moira. ideally throw the virus at the Moira, or, you know, you find the Zen in time. It's safer to wait another second, even if you want to do an EMP in this situation. There's 3 of your team on point. You don't have to rush it. And now you're exposed, right? And you don't have an escape for 4 seconds. And this is like the time where the enemy usually kills you. Which didn't actually happen. You have to understand that, like, it's fine that you live here, but then you're 80 HP. As soon as your transocate comes up, you want to throw it. It wouldn't have mattered in this situation, probably. It just came off cooldown, but you're hacking. And you gotta really rethink the way the hack works on Sombra. You want to use the hack as a denial tool for certain abilities. Like, ideally during their cast time. And that's the only time you ever want to use hack. Again, other than situations where you think you can go for a very fast 1v1 burst, which might be here. But again, I think even just showing the virus, and you don't even need to hack. That works, right? But right there, you didn't even need to hack. You hit the virus, you shoot a few bullets, they die. Going for the hack there is actually the risky play, because if he hits you during the hack animation, then you didn't do any more damage other than the virus, and you might die, right? End up dying for it. So just going for the machine gun. So I'm gonna say this a lot, but what's the point of hacking there, right? There's a very short time span between you throwing the virus, getting some damage in, and you having to escape, especially if you're not with your team. If you play a different playstyle of Sombra, or you translocate towards your team, and you play with your supports and you realize your supports are healing, you can actually like just play like a normal DPS, sit behind your tank, throw viruses, and get hacks out, right? But if you're playing this backline style, which I think is still super viable, right? If you realize you're not gonna get a kill, immediately translocate. The hardest part, honestly, about learning new Sombra for me, and I think for a lot of people will be, that you have the idea in mind of where you're going to translocate. Before you even go out of Invis and throw a virus or a hack, you should think about, where do I escape to? The way you want to think about the new translocate is a short range teleport that is almost instant, kind of like a tracer blink. So there's multiple options you have. You can go for this, right? Or this, or you can throw it up like towards like this ceiling here. Like throw the translocator almost like straight up. By the time you're up here, you're gonna go into Invis, and as long as nobody has line of sight on you, by the time you land, you're Invis and they won't know where you are, right? Or you can pick the route of escaping towards your team. And that's what you want to think about before you even start coming out of Invis and hacking. And in this situation in specific, you already have. You're not getting healed. And this is like more so an issue with your supports or your positioning, but super risky. Again, wasted time on hack, but now you're like already 80. Right, and by the time you decide to turn around for your escape, you're already dead. Free Zenyatta kill probably. Free Zenyatta kill here. Don't like that he went for the hack, but your Rotok cleans it up. You said like that your Rotok was like the enemy snowballed with your Rotok, but you're really not doing enough on Sombra to justify the pick right now, right? Yeah, and again, like this is gold, right? But even in gold, the Moira is fast enough to react and shift away before you hack. Whereas on the virus, I know she can still shift and cleanse it, but then at least, right, you force the shift and then you can get another virus. Like again, virus is a very low cooldown. And here, you go for the, I think this is your first EMP. It looks like a fat EMP, right? How many is that? 1, 2, 3 at least, right? It looked like a fat EMP. But your team is nowhere to be seen.
My brother in Christ.
Like your Rotok is not even close to being able to follow up on anything. So you want to use it when the fight is already started, right? Or if you want to use it to engage, then you need to wait until the enemy is very close. So fat EMP, but no one to follow up with. Doesn't even matter if they're trans. I think even without the trans, the enemy just lives there.
One very stupid decision later.
Yeah, Junkrat Swamp! Fuck the new Sombra, man. She's fucking shit. I want old Sombra back. Okay. Back to Sombra. There was one fight of Junkrat. I don't know why, but I'm down for my Sombra. I actually really enjoy the new Sombra. Actually, shoot her! Just shoot him! Just shoot! Why do you even hack him? He's won. Yeah, now you might die again. Okay, okay. Please escape. Okay. Okay. Again, man, this could have been so much better and you would have easily lived here. You see a 1 HP Zen in front of you. You don't even have to think about anything. Even if you go out of Invis, there's no shot he lives, right? There's like 2 bullets you need to hit out of your machine gun. Instead of walking closer. And hacking. What? Why? Okay, fine, right? Hit the virus, it's fine. Now he's definitely dead, right? There's 2 options or 3 options where you would have probably lived. Option number 1 is to throw the translocate into this corner. By the time they are at this corner and they were able to shoot you, you invis and you can hide, right? Unless you're a dumbass and walk straight to the medkit. Option number 2 is to throw the translocator straight up. Okay? Because by the time the Orisa is here, right, you invis in the sky and then she has to guess. And there's a very good chance she won't hit you. And then option number 3 would be to throw the translocator right here. Again, breaking the line of sight to the enemy. All you have to do is break the line of sight for half a second, and then you invis and you're fine. You translocate to the one position where both the Sombra and the Orisa can see you, even though the Orisa is... I don't know what she's doing. She's confused. Like, okay. You know, because you basically blinked right in front of them, they end up hitting you, end up getting you out of invis, and then you die. So think about your choices. And this is not an easy thing to do. Okay? It's gonna take time, and I'm not gonna blame you for it. I don't expect a gold player to think about that. Especially if the character is still new. Even if this doesn't work, if this playstyle doesn't work, I would really like for you to play around with your team. Yeah, you don't need to be invis behind them at all times. You need to stop thinking of Sombra like that character. You can be with your team for a bit, especially if there's like a tree of life. By the way, there was just a friendly tree, and like right now you're still jumping around doing nothing, just throwing abilities out, shooting a tiny bit instead of using that Kitsune ult. It's like you're allergic to your own team. I want you to look at this entire fight in third person. You're here. Jump down, fight them, right? You're like throwing you're running outside of the tree. Allergic to your team, right? You could be playing with your Karika, with your Weaver. You could be playing right here behind your tank. You're like, guys, I'm Sombra. I need to be stealthy and cool in the back. I'm playing Spy in Team Fortress 2. Look at your positioning. And even when there's a Kitsune ult, you're running away. What the hell are you doing? Okay? Good cleanup on the Zenyatta. And you're aware of whether... This was a good hack. See? Pause. Comment below. Why was that a good hack? Because you have at least one teammate with you. So there's a very, very high chance you can burst them down in that 1 second window. The important part is you're denying the enemy translocator for a second. So there's a good chance you kill them, even if you miss the virus right after hacking. So this is the first good hack of the game. Okay, you're looking for the Zenyatta. And you find him. Virus kill. Virus kill. Virus.
You serve no purpose in life.
Virus. Not the best aim. At least you realize that the first time the hack is useless. Okay, good EMP actually. See? Now your team is overusing, but that was a good EMP. Form an EMP while your team was fighting, right? And you get an easy cleanup. Right now what I would do is go around and look for the Zenyatta again, right? Start the fight out in the backline and then translocate towards your team or towards safety. You realized that the hack is useless now. You're learning. Missed the virus though. Okay. You probably have to touch here because you're the fastest target. You have like 5 seconds. 10% on flashpoint is 5 seconds. So you have to touch here and you realize you have to touch, I think. God, man. Well, what a great ending to a great game. You're missing the basics. Be patient. Like, I think your target priority, like the way you started fights was good. Like the way you found targets, like the way you were looking for Zenyatta and stuff was good before the fight. But then, like, everything else was bad, right? I would recommend you practice the virus. Again, it's okay to be a bit closer to the enemy. Take your time to hit the virus. Like, it is a skill shot. It's a very fast-moving projectile. Just treat it as a hit scan ability for now and go, like, medium to close range and you will hit it most of the time. Again, every time before you go out of invis and you engage the fight, make sure you have a plan on how to escape. Because you will need to escape, like, half a second later. No matter what. And that's the basics of Sombra. And I think once you master those, you will climb. It's not your team, you suck, get better. God Titan, dear friend of mine, tank player, and he's currently in GM5, and he thinks he deserves GM2. Second game on the new Sombra, and on the new map with her. Felt kinda lost in the Matrix sometimes, but all in all, I think I carried. Sometimes I just felt so stupid that I can't even explain it myself. Might want to become a Sombra player on DPS, just not sure how good the fundamentals are. I think I have a very good understanding of how the new Sombra works now. Just did an unranked 2GM on her a few days back. Did it faster than Fitzy in Question. Get fucked. Because the fundamentals of her completely changed. And it's really hard to break old habits, right? So if you're in the habit of playing that old Sombra playstyle for what, like 5, 6, 7 years, right? It's gonna be hard to change it up. And I do think new Sombra plays very, very differently than old Sombra. This is a pretty high SR game, GM, right? So we'll see how this goes. I actually really like that you started off the fight by trying to help your Rhine out a bit, getting some damage with the virus in, but I think it's more ideal to look for the easier pick-off targets here, which on their team is no one. Even if you hack Kiriko and then immediately virus, you will most likely be able to cleanse in time before you can burst that down solo. Can't really kill the Pharah. The Sojourn is an okay pick, but I was gonna say Mercy is actually quite weak against the new Sombra because of the fact that if you are skillful with the virus, you can actually hit the virus while she's flying, like behind her Pharah, and burst her down. And she doesn't really have a lot of counterplay herself, right? So in this case, I don't actually mind that you're going for the Reinhardt and helping your Rhine win the Rhine war. You seem to be kind of lost on where the enemy is, so you're just holding hack into a general direction. You still need to learn medkit positions on new Sombra, because again, like sometimes you're not going to be with your team and then you need healing. This is really good, yeah. And the new Sombra is actually a decent Pharah counter. I did this a lot too in my unranked GM. It's really, really good. Because you hack her, she falls down. It's easier to hit a falling target that can't really move much. You can follow up with a virus really easily, and then she will die, probably, right? If you hit this combo, which you did, if there's any help by your team, even if she has a mercy pocket, she will die. And you can see that right here. Insta death. Really good. Now you definitely want to go for the mercy. I wouldn't even have minded going for an aggressive translocate here. It is a bit risky, but you know, they still have a Kiriko, the best character in the game, most overpowered character in the game, does everything. So just stay away from her. But like, I wouldn't have minded if you went for the mercy here. You went for the safe play, help your Rhine out with the Rhine again. Don't mind that. Okay. Good hack on the Sombra. Well, why do I say so? Good hack on the whatever her name is. And here you could have lived more, by the way. You have another translocate up. Throw it in the air, right? Just throw it straight up or throw it to the right side and you probably live. The new translocate has a 0.25 second cast time. That was more than like half a second there. You lived, right? So if you threw that translocate, you're probably fine. And you probably win that fight. Hey, and I think a lot... What the hell was that? There's really no reason to hack unless you're in a 1v1 scenario or you're denying an ability. So starting off with virus, way better here. This is, even if you get those hacks off, what are they gonna do? Nothing. And instead you frontline and then you realize so late that you're fucked. And you die. First. That's just kind of dumb. Really good killing of that map. Yeah, this is... I don't know. I mean, you got the kill. I was gonna say maybe you didn't even need that EMP, but this was great, dude. Still very easily winnable. I would right here, like, it's okay to play in the bubble, but I would throw the translocate right behind them, or like, yeah, I would have thrown the translocate here or here, like way earlier in the fight, just to get an off angle to your team, right? Because then the enemy has to turn around for you, you shoot them for free, or they have to turn around for you, and then your team shoots them for free. And you actually end up losing that fight. That's actually kind of depressing. Hey, yeah, I would look for the hack on the Rhine here. Good. Your Bastion doesn't understand that the Rhine is there. If the Bastion realized earlier, the Rhine would have probably instant died. He still dies. Again, low value hack right there. Doesn't do anything, doesn't do much. Would just rather go for the instant virus, but good enough.
Round 2.
Good hack on the Echo. Actually, like, hacked right into your Bastion's line of sight. This is still a close-ish fight, but yeah. I kind of wish you would use translocate even more, right? As long as you throw it where you know the enemy isn't, you can get a lot of value with it. Instead, you threw it where the enemy was, and then your team got rolled. You probably start out by looking for the easy target, which here, again, is the Mercy. And I would even like, unless she's like completely exposed and you can go for the hack virus, just throw a virus at her, right? And she dies. Like you could also like just throw the virus at the Kiri. That way you force the Suzu. It's not a waste to throw the virus at the Kiri here. Because if you throw the virus, most likely she has to use cleanse. And cleanse is a way higher cooldown than virus. Virus is 6 seconds. So destroy the virus, you know? And then you'll have another virus before she has another cleanse. And you get 3 kills. Again. Virus gaming. Let's go. Spread the... Okay, we definitely have to cut that out. But you said you were carrying. I think this is like an okay Sombra. I think this is like you're doing your job well enough. But I think you can do way, way more, actually. Okay. The Reaper knows you're here. In fact, you should run back into his line of sight. Okay, you're out. I really want you to just walk up to the Mercy right now and throw a virus at her and kill her. Wait until your team is kind of close and then just throw a virus at one of the supports. Or the soldier, if you realize he's out of position. Again, hack first, and that's why you miss the virus. If you hack the target now, yes, they're gonna take double the damage after. But you have a way higher risk of then missing the virus. Because as soon as the enemy gets hacked, they become alert to you and they AD strafe, right? They start strafing and it becomes harder to hit the virus. Whereas before, if they're not aware that you're there, their movement is more predictable, right? And it's easier to just hit the virus. Like, it's cool to get the flashy play where they like instantly evaporate, right? But it doesn't happen a lot. You saw the Mercy. Hunt the Mercy, okay? I don't know why you're trying to hack here. I don't know what you...
Fuck is this piece of shit?
What value is hack gonna do here? The Reaper already faded. If you were actually to hack the soldier, Tactical Visor does not get cancelled by hack. So the only person where hack would have maybe mattered is the Kiriko, but she's too far away. And your team actually somehow carries while you died first. Nah, see how fast they die when you just shoot the virus? The Mercy. Okay. You had a few decent fights and you also had a bunch of fights where you did nothing. This was like average Sombra at best, I would say, okay? It wasn't awful. And I know we're all still learning. It's new. It's a new character. Is this GM2? Nah. Hell nah. If you're a bit smarter with how you engage and how you use the translocate, again, like I would have loved to see you do more translocates to off angle compared to your team, right? Instead of being with your team at all times. Yes, you need to be closer to your team because you will need more healing than the old Sombra. I would have loved seeing you use your translocate a bit better. And I would have loved seeing you hit more viruses and hack less. Otherwise,
it is not your team.
You suck, I'm sick, and until next time, see you friends, bye bye.